Have you thought about putting a flatbed on your truck but don't know which one to choose? This video is for you. Stick around. I'm going to tell you the pros and cons of my EBY flatbed that I have installed on my 2011 Silverado 3500. All right, so one thing I do love is on each side I have these two pretty large toolboxes. I know a lot of flatbeds, they have the toolboxes on the sides, but some of them seem like they're almost unusable where you can barely put anything in it. So for me, I got 1, 2, 3 full like tool kits. One of them is like an electrical, or well, a pack out that I made into electrical stuff. Got a tool bag in here, a couple little drill bit cases, and a few other things. And I still have some room in here that I could stuff more stuff in there if I wanted to, but I just like to keep it a little more organized. So plenty of room, and I have 2 of these, right? The other one has a lot of fluids and random other stuff that I like to carry, some recovery equipment for like getting stuck off-road or things like that. But plenty of room in both boxes. All right, so the next thing I love about the bed is how wide it is. So it is 8.5 feet long, 8.5 feet wide. I'm not a very tall person. I am like 5'7" or so, but if I put my foot right at the edge of the rub rail, which I am counting in for the width, and lay down and put my arms up, I'm still not even near the edge, right? But again, I'm not a tall person, but just to give you an idea. So it is an 8.5 foot wide by 8.5 feet long. So I do love the width and the length of it. It makes it way easier when I try to load stuff onto the bed, and a lot of room to work with. All right, so the next thing I like about the bed is the rub rails. So obviously you can see this one's a little bowed in. It's been used. Before I coated it, it got hit, or I should say I hit something, right? So it's a little bent in, but it protected my bed for the most part, and nothing came loose on my bed. It also protects. I have these pockets here, these stake pockets on here, so I can either put a like a wall here if I wanted to. I honestly have never used it that way, but I do use the drop-in hook pieces to strap stuff to my bed. And they're just kind of convenient how evenly placed they are, as well as worst case, if I don't want to use the pockets, I can actually strap directly to the rub rail all the way around and go across. That way, if I have a weird load that's on the bed and I want to strap at like the corner of this, I still have plenty of securement points. 2 things I actually like also about the bed is the lighting setup, and that one kind of comes with like something I wired in. So I do have infinity lights on all my lights, but I do like the placement of them. I like the fact that I have my marker lights, and then my actual tails, and then I have a set for reverses as a separate light, and then I got the 2 headache rack lights up there as well. But then the next thing I like when we're talking about the rear end of the truck is the big mud flaps that came with the truck or with the bed. It's kind of nice because I run 35s, and 1, I'm not that asshole who's throwing rocks all over people on the highway, and then 2, it just kind of keeps my truck a little more clean here and there. So another thing I love about this truck is the hideaway gooseneck. So I normally tow a 40-foot gooseneck with the cars on it. So I can pop this hatch up right here, and then inside I have my ball along with my shackles. And then it's just kind of nice because anytime I don't have the trailer hooked up or I'm not hauling anything, I can go ahead and close this back up, and bam, now I have a fully usable flatbed again. I do have the holes all the way around as well. If I wanted to install a 5th wheel hitch on here, they're on there and available. I've never installed a 5th wheel on this truck. I mostly just do gooseneck pulling, but it's convenient to have. One of the cons for this truck is the fill point. So when you're trying to fill up the truck, just like any other flatbed, it seems like you have to do the upside down fuel nozzle, which honestly doesn't really bother me. I don't mind having to do that, but it's the fact that I have to have it on the lowest setting to fill it, otherwise it like throws fuel out. And then at the same time, even when it does click, because it's upside down, it still throws fuel out. So that's kind of annoying, and that's mostly just because the fill point is right above the box, and then the fuel hose doesn't directly go down into the fuel tank. It kind of like levels out and then it goes down. So it's probably something I could try to reroute a little bit, but by maybe bringing the fuel line like over here or something. But I haven't really tried to mess with it too much. It's a small con, but it is sometimes annoying. Another kind of con, but not really. It's only if someone improperly installs your bed. So when I got this truck, the bed was already installed, and this set of hardware all the way down, there's about 5 of them that go along the bottom of the headache rack that connected to the main part of the bed. They weren't installed, so whoever installed it was just relying upon these 6 bolts and this support to hold the headache rack. So at like high speeds, highway speeds, this would just like wobble back and forth. and it ended up causing a crack in here. So got that welded up, and then put the proper hardware in it when I redid the bed, and now I don't have that issue anymore. All right, so I don't really have a whole lot of cons. Honestly, it's just those two, and one of them, again, is situational. But I love my EBY flatbed. I did think about changing it for a skirted flatbed when I was looking at like redoing the appearance of the truck, and I did all the paint matching and all that other stuff in the Line-X. But then I decided I liked this bed. It was already on the truck. I'd rather just spend money to make it look good than buy a whole nother bed and then have to pay to paint match it. And honestly, even though it's not a skirted bed, it still fits the truck, looks great. So if you're looking for an option on a bed, I'd say EBY. I definitely weigh them heavy. I have been pretty impressed with mine, and hope this helps you on your hunt to flatbed your truck.